Welcome to Land O'Lakes Art. This is our very first virtual cooking class. My name is Lynn Richie. I have the honor of being the president of LOLA, and also I am a retired personal chef, so that's why I get to be the first to do this. I do not have the options of having all other people like they do on television, so bear with me as we move forward. Today we're going to make a pear tart. This pear tart is absolutely beautiful. It will look like you went and bought it at a fancy restaurant, but it's easy to make. I had made this pear tart for some friends and posted a picture of it on Facebook, and I had a number of people post back that they wanted to have a class on it. Well, since we can't be together, this is the perfect way to do it. So welcome to our very first virtual cooking class. The pear tart starts with a basic crust. You need a 9-inch removable tart tray. You have flour, sugar, a little tiny bit of sugar, and a little pinch of salt, and a half of a cup of butter. Okay, so here's our half a cup of butter. We're going to cut that into small little bits so that we can process it easier. I'm sure many of you have made crusts, so you know that having cold ingredients is pretty important when you're making a crust, so that when it cooks, it's nice and light and not tough. Overworking your crust is not a good idea. You can do this by hand, or you can do it in a processor. We're going to do it in a processor today, just for time. So, got the butter almost all cut. Here we go. One of the things I forgot to remind you about is, and which I always do at any live cooking classes we do here at LOLA, is the first thing to do is go wash your hands, which of course, especially at this time, which I've already done. So make sure you sing your little special song that you do when you wash your hands and make sure they're all nice and clean. So moving on, we have 1 1/4 cups of flour, which we're going to just put right in here. We have 1 tablespoon of sugar that goes right in there. A little pinch of salt, and this is just regular table salt. And then we're going to put the processor on to blend that together real quick. Only takes a second. And then we are going to add our butter. And we're going to just put that in there. We're going to run this on low, so you're not going to hear me for a while. We just want to check and make sure that it's a nice, all crumbled up in there. And then the next step is to get some very cold water. Your really cold ingredients are important. So I had some cold water. This is a great little cup that has holds 4 tablespoons of water. We need not that much. We need just about 2 tablespoons of water, but sometimes a little bit more. You just kind of have to feel the dough and check it out. So I'm going to turn this back on again. And you can see how it all came together. Perfect. Now on a slightly floured board, I probably should have also warned you, I'm not the neatest cook. I like to have flour and stuff all over so that everybody knows how hard I'm working. So we're going to dump this dough out. Bring it together into about a not a 9, about a 5-inch round. Disc, and wrap it up tight in some saran wrap, and then we're going to refrigerate it. I just got the dough out of the refrigerator. The next step is to spray our pan. I'm going to step off to do this in the sink so I don't get Pam spray all over. I like the Pam with the flour additive. So our dough is right here, ready to go. Timer is now off, and we're going to roll it into an 11-inch round. I was lucky enough to go to Paris and go to Laurent, which is where Ina Gardner goes when she's in Paris to buy supplies. And so I got this wonderful rolling pin. On the way back, I had 6 tomato knives and 2 rolling pins in my suitcase. And as I was coming through customs, before I got on the plane in France, they asked if I had anything that could be construed as a weapon. And I, being a nice person that would never hurt anybody, said, no, I have nothing. Needless to say, my luggage and my companion's luggage was thoroughly gone through when we got back. But that's okay. So we are now at 11 inches. I'm going to take the pan, set it in, push it down nice. I'm not sure if you can see all of this really good. I hope you can. The good news is that Land O'Lakes, where LOLA is located, Land O'Lakes, Wisconsin. Once we can start doing classes again, you can come and join us for a live class. We've had lots of different classes. We've had Korean food, we've had Thai food, we've had chefs from around the area. So here's our pie crust. Our crust is all ready to go. It had been in the refrigerator for 30 minutes. Now it goes into the freezer for 30 more minutes. While we're doing that, we can start getting our filling ready. Crust is in the freezer. It'll be 30 minutes for that. So while the crust is doing that, let's get started on the filling. So it's an almond filling. The first thing we do is we have almonds in our little food processor here. We're going to put it on and grind them up to fine. All ground up. Put them back in the little bowl while we do the rest of the filling. So that was 1 cup of almonds. Now we need a 1/2 cup of sugar, which is right here. We need 6 tablespoons of butter that's softened, which it is, and almond extract. And I should measure. Almond extract is one of those things, it is extremely potent, so be very careful when you use it. It calls for 3/4 of a cup. And 1 egg. We're going to add the almonds back in there. And grabbing a spatula out of the drawer, or a wooden spoon because we can't find a spatula. Kind of get that out of the corners of the food processor because there's a lot of butter stuck in there and we want that to be mixed in. So we'll put it on for just a second more. There we go. So the filling is all ready. Now, let's turn the oven on to make sure it's ready. And we turn the oven on to 375 degrees. And we're very lucky here. We have one of those little double ovens, so we're going to use the top oven because this is a small thing that we're doing. So besides doing cooking classes in this area, we do all kinds of classes, from carving to children's classes. We do homeschool kids in the winter so they get some art education as part of their programming. There's watercolors, there's rug hooking, there's just everything you can imagine. On Wednesdays throughout the year, you can, if you're a watercolorist, you can come and just join a group. It's free. You just come and join them. And everybody helps each other. Wendy, who is our program person who takes care of all that, she does beginner watercolor classes on a regular basis. And then on Fridays in the winter, we have a group that gets together and they do all kinds of fiber arts, from knitting to needlepoint to you name it, they do it. So we're very, very lucky with the amount of teachers that we have that come in and do all sorts of classes. So if you would like to, check LOLA's website and find out all the different stuff that once this is over and we can have y'all back in, you can come and join us. So the next step in our pear tart that we've got the filling done, the crust is in the freezer ready to go, is the very topping, which is the pears. So I have a plastic sheet here. I pre-did some of the pears, but I have one pear to show you how we do this. As a little hack, I'm sure most of you know this, but these slide around. So in order to keep it so that you're safe when you're using a knife, put a piece of wet paper towel underneath, lay it down, it doesn't slide. I also have, besides a potato peeler, I have a corer. This is a really nice little tool. I do a lot of home canning. So when you're working with apples or pears, this little thing just cores beautifully. So grabbing our pretty little, I chose red pears. They're a little firmer. When you do this tart, a little firmer pear is better. You don't want anything overripe. It will get kind of soggy on top. So just peel this. Now, as I said, I pre-prepped the other pears. So you always are going to have 1/2 of a pear left, which is always good to eat. So I'm going to share that 1/2 a pear that's left with Alex, who is our marketing manager, who is also doing the videoing, and she's going to do some wonderful editing. So I'm going to look really brilliant when she's done with this, hopefully. Anyway, so just peeling the pear real quick. I'm going to step off to go to the sink, and we can't quite get the sink in here, so I'm going to step off to wash the pear and get rid of the peelings. So pear is nice and washed. I'm going to cut this in half. And then here's where this corer does such a nice job. Just take it in, go like that. Pear is ready. Now you're going to slice into the pear. So it's a very pretty design on top when it's all done. And just do simple slices, maybe about 1/4 inch apart. Unless you've got really good fine motor skills, then you can do them closer. But don't cut all the way through your pear. However, we're all human. And so when you do cut through the pear, yeah, you can still use it. You just have to kind of push it together. Just back from washing my hands again. Brought the Tart from out of the freezer, the Tart pastry shell. So now we're going to put the filling in. We're going to spread it evenly in the bottom. I finally found a spatula, so that's going to help. So moving that around so that it's as even as possible. And as I said before, the oven is at 375. So it's ready to go in. There we go. So now we're going to layer the pears on top in a spoke pattern. They look so pretty. And after they bake, we are going to put apricot jam. I will tell you that normally when I'm doing this at home, so that's what it looks like now before it cooks, but you can see it's pretty. We're going to stick that in the oven. Normally I use apricot jam that I made, and I was all out. Went to the grocery store to get apricots because I was going to make more apricot jam. Well, wrong season, so couldn't find apricots. So now we're going to stick this into the oven, and it's going to be in there 375 degrees for 35 to 40 minutes, or until that pastry has a nice golden brown. Then we're going to pull it out, and we're going to make the magic with the apricot jam on top. 40 minutes has passed. Our beautiful tart is out, so we're going to do the last little step. In this pan, I put the apricot jam. I added, the recipe doesn't call for it, but I have found if you add a little tiny bit of water, it actually, you can heat it up easier without it burning. So now we're going to strain it. So there's that, and we'll just push it through the sieve because we don't want chunks all over our beautiful pears. There we go. And now just take the little brush. Oh, I so wish you guys were here so that you could do some sampling. You'll have to remember that we do live cooking classes. Land O'Lakes is, if you don't know where it's at, it's north of Eagle River, Wisconsin, and we are one of the border towns, so we border with the UP of Michigan, and we are very close to Waters Meat, Michigan. So this is a fun place to come. We do all sorts of stuff. We're involved with Make Music Day, which is an international program. This is the 3rd year we're going to be participating in that. And that is a fun day, even with this social distancing. Our program director has figured out ways to have musicians throughout our town, and people will be able to drive and do a drive-by music stop. So you can stop in your car and roll down the window and listen to the musicians. We also, sounds like the Black Oak Lake up by us, which is a beautiful lake, they're going to do pontoon music on Make Music Day. So you should check out our website to find out all about that. Our tart is absolutely gorgeous. As I said, I wish you were here to taste it. It's very warm. I better grab some pot holders before I kind of hold it up for you to see. And now you could make it a little browner than it is right here. This is a different oven I'm working with, but it looks good. We're going to enjoy it. If you would like the actual recipe, I would invite you to send in a self-addressed stamp envelope to LOLA, L-O-L-A, at P.O. Box 981, Land O'Lakes, Wisconsin, 54540. As I believe I stated, we are a nonprofit. If you wanted to put a small donation in there, that would be very, very appreciated, especially at this time. since we can't do any of our regular programming, to bring in some money to continue to keep our classes going. And we do, it's a very important part of LOLA's mission is to help those enjoy art that can't afford art. So we hope you enjoyed this video. I actually did enjoy doing it. I have a great director. So thank you very, very much. Again, check out LOLA's website. Bye.